It's got all the
what?
hi.
We're not walking with angels. We're talking to ourselves. Wait, what?
Hello.
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 Every Rush song.
We're not walking with angels. We're talking to ourselves and you, rising up from the surface as we analyze the touching Rush song, Sweet Miracle.
There's a sweet, sweet miracle
In
this
this
Place.
And I know that it's the spirit of the radio.
Is that how that goes?
Not really.
I kind of hate to fade during that part because I really love that little guitar. So as Tim and I were discussing off pod, or I guess in the case of the videos, off tube, off you, does that work? Off tube? Maybe not.
Something
I don't know.
like that.
There was a time when I didn't like this song. Wasn't one of my faves. It was towards the bottom. But I've come around. After listening it a few times more closely, I've come around. I remember having I wouldn't say an argument on Twitter, but someone saying that you should just enjoy the song and not analyze it or anything, that it ruins a song by trying to analyze it.
I don't know about that.
And you, sir, were wrong because now I like it more. So
Well, hey, look, as much as I like from our last two episodes with Earthshine, Shayne, what you pointed out about the song and the lyrics and the meaning,
did I ruin it for you?
Analyzing it has just made me love that song even more. It's got more of a meaning to me now.
Well, that, Tim, is where you're
I
mistaken.
agree.
Because for some reason you don't like Emotion Detector better, and I did just as hard a
because
work.
Emotion Detector is just, guys, we got to have something. Okay, we've only got 8 songs or 7 songs.
I mean, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still gonna be a pig.
Pouring syrup on something, don't make it pancakes.
Unless it's pancakes.
That's true. What about waffles?
Pancakes.
Love pancakes.
So I've got some general observations.
Dang it. All right, cool. Well, then what do you think, Tim?
Tim, let's hear you.
I'm just kidding. Jay, I want to hear your.
Okay.
Jay, I want to hear your.
I will just say, according to Geddy Lee, this is probably the second song written for the album. According to Geddy Lee.
Probably.
So it's very much influenced by grief and despair. The 3 verses could be about the stages or about stages of grief. For example, the first verse, despair, swept beneath the surface, lost without a trace, no hope at all. The second verse, anger, raging against the night, starless night. Third verse is acceptance, rising up from the surface to fly into the night. And along those lines, although the lyrics are the same, you could interpret each chorus as related to the sentiment of said lyric. Oh, sweet miracle from despair. Oh, sweet miracle to angry and sarcasm. Oh, sweet miracle to bargaining and acceptance. That's kind of what I get out of it.
Wow, Jay.
I could be wrong.
Now there's 12 steps to grief. Am I right?
No, there's like 5 or 6.
Sorry,
That's, I think you're talking about Alcoholics Anonymous and the steps to recovery.
right. My bad. My bad. Wow, that's awesome, Jay. You know what? I like it very much.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
I wish we weren't boring Tim so much.
Well,
I was
I
checking
saw that
something
idea
out.
that
Yeah.
somebody had pointed out that idea, and I'm like, "Oh, I like that." And then I started listening to that. Okay, I hear that, and then I thought, the chorus is, even though it's the same words, it sort of highlights the sentiment of each verse in a different way, or
Mhm.
you hear it in a different way after hearing the verse.
Hold on, let
That
me
may
change
be
my
too deep. It might just be a good song.
let me change my notes real quick. Repeat
Okay.
what you just said.
I said, what I like about the Rush is they play
Wow.
guitars and drums and bass, and they sing and
Okay.
shit.
Let's not try to draw away from Jay's brilliant observation here. Let's not let him distract from Jay. Jay.
No, make you hear each verse and the chorus, although it's the same throughout. The chorus, you hear it differently after that verse. You say, "Okay, I can take it this way," or now I kinda hear it this way," or what have you. What have you.
Hmm. Hmm. Man,
That's
now I need to listen to it again. You know what? I'm gonna get a streaming service so I can listen to this song several times. That's what you should do too, Rush fan.
uh,
Too bad we won't have
yeah.
an affiliate account for you to go. Tim, you know what? Can we save you for last, Tim? Because I know you have some good thoughts on this. Plus, mine, believe it or not, is pretty short.
Go ahead.
Okay. Although I do want to say I like Jay's better, but this is what I got. This is Neil's way of saying to Carrie, if I were a religious man, I would say that you're a miracle and that you were sent here to save my life. Carrie, since I'm not a religious man, this is how bad I was suffering. And by the way, you're a miracle and you were sent here to save my life. That's what kind of
Okay.
in a nutshell. If
Yeah,
the
yeah,
show
absolutely.
if the show was nutty, it
And
would be simple.
I will absolutely agree with that.
All right. Well, thank you, Rush fan, and we'll see you in the next.
However,
Oh,
Exciting.
boy.
Here it comes. Bring it on.
knowing that Neil was not a religious man, that song
not.
is about Carrie. However, Neil, not on purpose and definitely not knowing, or maybe he did, I don't know, wrote one of the best come to Jesus songs ever.
Oh, salvation.
Out of the
Well,
I
cradle.
forgot about that part because that leads into the
when you think about the things that Jesus had said, number one, a lot of people, when they come to know God, they're not necessarily looking for that. I've seen that happen many times. They were just visiting the church because they came with a family member, and for whatever reason, they might have been to church 1,000 times, but that day they heard the knocking on the heart's door. Okay. They weren't looking for it. Neil talks about he was he wasn't walking on water. Okay. What did the apostle Peter do with Jesus when Jesus asked him, "Come out here to me," when Jesus was walking to them on the water? Peter walked on the water
He walked on the water, Tim.
until what? He took his eyes off of Jesus, looked at the water, the waves, and he started to sink. Okay. That is, to me, that's all about faith. So he wasn't walking in faith, he was standing on a reef. Okay. Now, reef, that's life right there. Okay. You can swim around a reef, you could probably walk on a reef very carefully. But if you're not being careful, and if you're swimming around a reef and you're not being very careful and you run into it, you could get hurt by the reef, right?
That's correct, Tim.
So he was standing on the reef when he got taken under by the waves of life. What had just happened to him by losing his daughter and his wife.
Yeah.
He rises to the surface, okay, but he's not he's not there yet. Then he talks about he wasn't walking with angels. Okay. So again, he's not looking for God. He's in no way with that. Okay. But when you get to the chorus of "Oh, sweet miracle of life," what did Jesus say that he was? The way, the truth, and the life. Then his third verse, he goes into he wasn't praying for magic. He was standing in plain sight, rising up to the surface, uh, um, surface to fly into the light, not the night. You had said night earlier, Jay. It's light. Okay.
Okay.
Jesus is the light of the world. Okay. The sweet miracle. Now, think about it from a human standpoint. When you take the whole Bible and the story of God and Jesus and all of that stuff, the whole thing, when you hear it for the first time, very much sounds like it would be a fairy tale, something that only a miracle would be. Jesus is a miracle. The fact that what he did by, dying on the cross, an innocent man did nothing wrong, wrongfully accused, but still put to death, and he didn't fight against it. He put himself there to fulfill the will of the Father, to be the perfect sacrifice for all mankind. That is a miracle that happened. The salvation. I mean, Getty singing, "Oh, salvation." It's a perfect praise and worship song. And I know Neil did not intend it. I played this song back when this album first came out on our way to some church picnic outside somewhere, and he was riding with me because our praise band was playing, and he was
Wait.
the bass player at the time.
Who
But he
who
was
was
our
riding
youth
with you?
leader.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he was the youth leader. And I
thought it
played the
was
song.
Jesus.
Didn't tell him who it was. And I asked him, I said, "So what do you think? Do you think this could be a praise and worship song?" Well, of course, he said, "Well, no, because the music's too hard." You know.
He's fired.
Anyways, I said, but think about the lyrics. I mean, he's talking about going through struggles, and number one, raging against the night, a starless night. Think about that. Now, the only time we ever see a starless night when it's completely cloudy outside. But imagine a night that's clear, no clouds, and you look up and there are no stars. How black that sky is. He's raging against the blackness, the darkness that's in his life because of the tragedies he had gone through. So that is my opinion, and I know Neil did not intend that, but he did it. It makes perfect sense to me, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Neil Peart wrote a praise and worship song and did not know it because it makes perfect sense to me.
I
And
think
you know what?
he would appreciate that. That's what you got from it.
You know what? I can appreciate for sure myself because I mean, when you say that, absolutely, I can see that. And you, as you said, you know that he didn't have that intention, but that's what came across in the lyric,
Right.
you know.
And
So
and still, I mean, many people have written love songs um
I mean, I
about
can't seem to stop writing love songs.
Oh my gosh. Jay, all right, how do you
Deep
kick
cut,
someone
deep
off
cut,
of
deep
I
cut,
just
deep
can't
cut.
get you off my mind.
Yes, deep cut, deep cut,
You
deep
know
cut.
what? When I start playing my space guitar,
Get the space guitar. Space
just
guitar.
you and me just seem to make the perfect rhyme.
Word.
Jay, will you go back to your previous Zoom background? So I was going to make a joke and then you switched. You kind of read my joke. So if you'll go back, I'd appreciate
Let's
that.
go back to the
Yeah,
previous.
just real quick. Bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, there it is. And
There
by the
we
way,
go.
Tim is reporting live from Golgotha.
Jay is not Tim.
That's what I meant. Dang it. All right, take two. And Jay is reporting live from Golgotha.
Boy, is it hot here.
Oh man. So look, that was my little religious opinion.
Yep.
You can take it for what it is. You can take it, you can give it right back, you can discard it, do with it whatever you want. That's fine with me.
You know what? I enjoyed your opinion. I appreciate your opinion and I welcome your opinion and I would hope that everybody would be open to at least your point of view.
Yeah. It just
So
it just it just it just makes sense.
it's not you're not being preachy about it. You're just saying
Yeah.
what the song means to you.
Right. Right. But as I was saying that many people have written love songs talking about how that person who is the topic of the love song, saved their life or, was, the greatest thing that ever happened to them. And so it makes perfect sense that he is absolutely talking about Carrie in this. That makes sense to me. So yeah, that's what he was talking about. He just was also not knowingly talking about
Yeah, he's basically what I got
a
out of it is
pathway of salvation.
what I got out of it is if you take this as a song, love song, or talking about his grief, he's still walking through talking about that grief he's feeling as wife and daughter. But as the song progresses, that oh sweet, the miracle is Carrie.
Yeah.
She's the
I mean,
salvation. She's
it's
the
it's Carrie, and it's life in general.
yeah,
And Carrie brought life back to his life.
right. Yeah. To fly into the light.
Yeah.
Tim and Jay bringing it big today. Look at that.
Oh sweet
What?
miracle of life.
I think that the fact that our interpretations were so different, so many directions, just proves what a great song it is.
Yeah, I mean that a great song is open to interpretation. And it's a really great song can be interpreted in many different ways. Uh a song like I've got friends in low places, not so much.
A little more literal.
A little more literal.
It's a little
Right.
literal. It's
Yeah.
a little literally literal. Okay.
That is one thing I wish I was better at when I was writing songs. I wish I could do had the gift of the prose, the gift of the being able to not being so literal. Like you had that gift, Shayne. You could write.
What are you talking about? You wrote the greatest song of all time, FUCK.
I know. That's two
Wow.
meanings at least.
It
Right.
has several meanings. Yes.
If you see Kay,
Speaking of that, Jay,
tell
you
her that
need to
I
write
love
again.
her.
All right,
Tell her
Rush
that I need her.
Rush
Tell her
fans,
that I
I
care.
every Rush song fans, I want you to harass Jay every day to start writing again because he doesn't listen to me. And now back to the show.
Now, musically,
Musically,
I
what you got?
love the introduction. I definitely love Getty's bass. I'm a bass player, Shayne. When you get to after the introduction, and it's more of just a regular timekeeping thing going into the chorus, Getty, is he playing like chords? Or
Let's
something
listen to
like
that because it's pretty neat what he does, I think, and he does it. It's a Getty thing to do, but let's listen because they also love the very first note. Very first note, Tim. Very first note, Jay. Very first note, Rush fans. Here it is on the show. Wow. That is just, I just
Wait, play
love
that
that.
again. Play that again. That reminds me of like a Ozzy Black Sabbath or something like doom 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 doom, doom
Dude.
or Judas Priest or
And then so here's you got the riff. I had to look at my notes. I couldn't remember what's got. Wait, I fell asleep. I dozed. So the riff is going, and then now listen to what Getty and Neil are doing. They're doing their typical bum bum. But they're playing these kind of intricate parts, but together. I like it a lot. Yeah, that's definitely the chords. Now, did you hear the slide, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure there's slide.
Yes.
It's not, I don't think it's any better or worse, but you can hear it a little differently on the original. Boom. Is that a riff or is that a lick? What is that? I don't know.
That's just
I do know
kind
it's
of
awesome. Yeah, and then is this the part, Tim, you're talking about where he's playing the bass chords? Now you heard the guitar part, right?
Right.
Now listen to the bass part on the verse. So the guitar's kind of doing the
Yeah.
and then he's still doing the da dun 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 on the
But then
on
he
the bass.
did that dun 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 something kind of syncopated triplet hit Getty did right in there.
Let's hear it again on the show.
I wasn't walking on water. I was standing on a reef when the tide came in, swept beneath.
We do like triplets here
Yes.
on every Rush song. Do we not?
We do.
Okay, now I'm going to play the original first. No, I'm going to play the remix first because there's a riff, a little bass fill here that you can't really hear on the remix that you can hear. I'm just stalling while I find the right time. That you can hear on the original.
Sweet.
Maybe you can hear it a little more than I thought, but it sticks out. Or maybe I had it backwards. Maybe you can't hear it as much on the original. Let's just see what we got.
I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, it does stick out a little more on. I think it's a little louder than I thought before. I guess I was using different headphones on the remix, but it is a little louder here on the remix. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Then at 106, there's a guitar riff that Shayne likes on the show.
The show.
Now, in the original, that guitar there is a little more crunchy, a little crunchier, and you can better hear that there's two distinct tracks in the panning on the original. So I don't know if you can hear it coming through the Zoom thing, but you can definitely hear it too. I mean, it's almost like the timing's a little off between the two, and you can hear it a little better on the original. You've got Alex with the two different guitar parts, but then you've also got Geddy doing some bass chords on this part at 1 minute and 6 seconds. Into Sweet Miracle. I started to say One Sweet Miracle. I just wish there was a live version out there to hear.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that part.
Not played on tour.
Okay, now this is something that it took me a few times to hear this, but this is on the guitar part. And I've heard it on guitar parts before, and I always hated it, this effect. And I hear it on organs a lot. But there's this you'll hear a vibrato effect on the guitar. And it's Alex kind of going up. I don't know if it's a scale or an arpeggio, but he's kind of going up a little bit. And with that vibrating sound, it has like a real airy, heavenly sound to it. This is at 2 minutes into Sweet Miracle. Can you hear that? Can you hear it? It's really faint. It's like a
right. And I've always wondered. I figured it had to be guitar because there's no keyboards.
Yeah.
But that would have been a cool like synth string section if they had decided to do keyboards and bring that out a little bit. That because and it also sort of reminds me of the orchestra chime bell player in an orchestra. Bum, 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 bum. You know, I love that. I love that part. I love that part.
Do you, Tim? Do you love that part?
I love that part.
There you go, folks. He loves the part. You
Tim.
know, I like that part on the "Oh Salvation" where he's singing there. Geddy Lee, listen to his voice. He does a really cool thing. The way he sings it, I like. He's like showing off that has a little vocal dexterity.
It's possible that we may play that 20 seconds like 10 more times here for the next little bit.
Well, there we
And
go.
you know what? And what I like about that vocal part, it's lower in the mix in a way. You know, instead of it being forefront kind of verse and chorus level vocal, it's brought down some where you're hearing it, but it's more almost like background.
Well, and we talk about all the production in in Power Windows. That's not as much in this, but between this guitar sound and those layered vocals, there's a lot of subtle things in the mix. And we are going to play it again to hear Geddy's vocals. But what I like about that guitar thing, since the notes are kind of going up and it has that airy feel to it, it gives me an image of like a stairway. And while Getty is singing Salvation, it gives me an image of a sort of stairway to heaven.
Right.
Sorry to
Yeah.
reference the song. But that shakiness is kind of like the person's kind of wavering as they're ascending the stairs. So listen one more time for the guitar. Just focus on the guitar because we're going to come back and listen again for the vocals. This is hard work. This is hard work. Appreciate you sticking with us.
Yeah, did you hear those vocals?
Man.
Yeah.
Well played, Jay. What's
Yeah.
fun? I don't know if y'all know this, but sometimes Getty has a high voice and you can hit some high notes.
No.
Yes.
Wasn't Getty the
And-
original voice over actor for Darth Vader?
He was.
when he is on the helium planet, maybe.
Right.
How
The
about
horse
that
is strong in
sound?
this one.
I wonder.
Oh, someone with some kind of effects needs to do that Darth Vader on helium.
Absolutely.
So since he sings high on a lot of songs, people will talk about him using falsetto, and it's rarely falsetto. He's
Right.
hitting the notes. It's not falsetto, but this one almost sounds like falsetto to me.
Yeah.
So that's the first. That's like the first
And-
half of this bridge. Now I'm into the second half.
And it probably is falsetto because he's not belting it out.
Right. It's more for the mood of the song.
Right. And so it's easier just to go up into falsetto for that. Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, if it belts it out, it's going to have a very different sound to it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as.
It's not that high for
Yeah.
him. It's high, but not that high for him.
Yeah.
That he can't hit that note. And I love the drum fill. Yeah, that last part there, that's definitely falsetto.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it doesn't drive me crazy when people call it falsetto when it's really just high, but the Ted Mosby in me makes me want to correct.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, Ted Mosby is a fictional character on the television show How I Met Your Mother on CBS back in the early 2000s.
You know,
Also starred Neil Patrick Harris
as Barney.
as Barney.
You know, I try so hard in this life to channel Barney Stinson, but it's always Ted Mosby. It's always Ted.
What,
Ted
what,
is
what-
Ted.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Who was it that played Ted Mosby?
I don't even know.
I forgot
Josh,
his name.
Raid,
Okay.
Josh,
Yeah.
Josh. I don't remember. Okay.
And Barney's, but Neil Patrick Harris, his Barney Stinson, it was one of the greatest characters ever. He was like a ladies' man, and he was always how I don't know. He was genius, and he had the best lines. Every Rush song.
He was. I use so many gifs. GIFs?
GIFs.
HIFs. I've heard it both
Guys.
ways.
Just
I've-
peanut butter.
I've used so many Barney Stinson HIFs. I should pay him royalties. I do like how they do go to a kind of a softer version of the chorus here at the end. But listen to the two guitar tracks on that part, on the remix. Oops, let me go back another couple of seconds just to make sure. Okay, here we go.
Light, oh sweet miracle, oh sweet miracle, oh sweet.
Yeah, and then that's definitely falsetto in the harmonies. So then what's So now listen on the original because those two distinct guitar parts. There's two more distinct parts in that are panned. Guitar parts, by the way.
Oh, sweet miracle. Oh, sweet miracle. Oh.
And it's a weird pattern too. It's dun 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 dun. It's very cool. I like it a lot. And then the ending. I like the way it ends. That's the hard part, getting to the end. Is there any other parts you wanted to hear before we get to the ending? Not that we can't go back, but
No, I think
No.
it's. I think we're
okay.
gonna-
Here's the ending.
Here.
And tell me what it is that we like about the ending.
I know already. It's the fact that it's just life. No, the instruments are already cut out.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that is
Well,
a love.
that was the next song.
Yeah, not that's how the
It went
drums with
into Nocturne.
the phase with the phasers on it,
Yeah.
the flange. All right,
But
here
you,
is-
that's what it is, right? You just life
Yeah.
being just the vocals and no
Yeah, I love
instruments.
that. Yeah, that was great.
Trash can ending.
and the other cool part is listen to all the vocal parts too. I don't know how many parts this harmony is.
Yeah.
What was the last? Was that the last one you played? Was that the original or the remix?
That was the remix. Now here on the original,
Ooh,
you can hear
I
the
like that
distinct.
Miracle.
Ooh, I went right to it.
I like the original better. Man.
Yeah, and you can hear the different vocal parts better.
Yeah.
Because you've got the miracle
Yeah.
of life, and then
But see,
Yeah.
I don't hear the high part as much on the original. I hear the lower part and his regular voice
really
on
You know
what?
live.
Can you play the remix again?
the remix. Yeah, let's just go prove Tim wrong because I enjoy it. Love, sweet miracle, love, sweet miracle.
That was the original, wasn't it?
That was
See, I
That
hear
was the
the high
remix.
part on Miracle of, and then I don't hear the high part on Life on the original. I hear it faintly on the remix.
See, I didn't
all right.
hear it.
I'm gonna go back a little further because I like the answer thing he does too. So I'm going back a little farther on the remix. And the original.
Well, you can definitely hear Getty's vocals a lot better on the original than on the remix, especially the back with the anthem, the call response.
And does it sound like he says loves Sweet Miracle of Life or loves
No.
Sweet Miracle of Life?
Sounds like
The very- I
Yeah,
think he says, oh, sweet miracle, love, sweet miracle of life, or loves sweet miracle of life.
Hmm.
Listen again to the remix. Didn't it sound like love, sweet miracle of life? Just
that
me?
did actually sound like Love's Sweet Miracle.
Just me. I'm going to go back a little farther on the remix.
it's oh.
Yeah, it
No,
does.
that it's a
It's just the way
it's a
it's the way
rock and
he's-
roll thing.
it's the way he sings. Oh,
Yeah.
sweet
Yeah, right.
miracle.
He's doing that more rock and roll inflection of oh.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think it's love.
yeah.
I think
You're
it's
wrong.
love, sweet miracle of life.
Well, but you're wrong.
One more time
For
on
dexterity.
the original, just so we can hear the bow.
Can you play that again, but back a little further?
No.
Okay.
Do you care which version?
No, I need the original.
The original?
Hmm.
All right, let me go back to the original. Sorry, when I do it on Amazon, it switches back and forth between the versions. So I try to gotta keep them separated.
Gotta
Sorry.
keep them separated.
I should be fired for that. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back an extra 11 seconds, Jay.
I can definitely understand why you would interpret that as love.
Thank you for saying that I'm right, Jay.
That wasn't.
I'm glad we agree on that. Now, Tim, couldn't you just crank down the distortion and play that one Sunday morning? I think everyone would love it.
No, never crank down the distortion.
Oh, you know what you could do with it? You could easily turn that into a more mid-tempo
I think so.
ballad sounding, not necessarily a ballad, but yeah. And when you analyze it,
Last note on some lyrics, to me, a lot like Earthshine, there's tiny differences in each verse that kind of tell the story of the song. The first verse, swept beneath the surface, lost without a trace. Then the second verse, rising up to the surface, raging against the night. And in the third verse, rising up from the surface to fly into the night, into the light.
Thank you.
Yeah.
into the nightlight.
Yeah.
I love the nightlight. I like the bouquet.
On the
Thank
disco.
you.
Aha.
Yeah. I love the nightlight. I love the bouquet.
Okay. Well, yeah,
We
sweet
just
miracle.
brought this show to an all-time
Man.
low.
Grinding halt, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen.
Wow. You know what?
My second favorite song from the album.
Really?
Yeah, it's number 2.
Jay, how are you?
Oh, I absolutely agree with Tim that his second favorite song from the album. I wouldn't say that it's my second favorite. I would say that it's in the running for my second favorite for sure.
You know, as long as it runs. That's
Yeah,
the important
right.
thing.
Yes.
It's the important.
But gosh, I love One Little Victory so
I
much. I
know.
just like that song.
I love Scotch. Scotch.
Scotch.
Well, Rush fans, we want to know what you think. That's what we think. And these two, they brought it big today. Don't you think? I do. And I'm right. So email us. Tell us what you think. 2112 at everyrushsong.com. Sometimes I should just not even comment on YouTube. You can find those at Every Rush Song, just like you can find us on the Soch. I always want to say find us. Find us on the Soch at Every Rush Song. We've got 3 more songs on Vapor Trails.
Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
We're gonna
We're
gonna actually
telling you, stretching it into
actually
September,
accomplish this, man.
right? We started it in May, all the way through September. Tim, it's late. Help us.
Wilmington, Delaware. Thank you very kindly. Good night. like anybody lives in Wilmington, Delaware.